Hello, welcome to this story. Today, you will listen to a calm and peaceful story. It is called Tom and the Little Cat. The story is easy and quiet. You can listen and relax. Let's start the first part of the story. Part 1. The Little House. Once upon a time, there was a small house near a big forest. The house was old, but it was very warm and nice. A boy named Tom lived in the house. Tom was kind and he liked animals very much. Every morning he woke up early. He opened the window and looked at the sun. The sun was yellow and soft. Tom smiled and drank his tea slowly. One morning, Tom saw a small cat near the forest. The cat was white with brown spots. It looked tired and hungry. Tom felt sorry for the cat. He said, "Hello, little cat. Do you want food?" The cat looked at him and meowed softly. Tom took some bread and milk. He gave the bread and milk to the cat. The cat ate slowly. Tom felt happy. After eating, the cat walked around Tom's feet. Tom laughed softly. "You are a nice little cat," he said. Tom decided to take the cat inside the house. He gave the cat a name, Snow. Snow liked the warm house and the soft bed. Tom and Snow became friends very quickly. Tom had a small garden behind his house. There were flowers, a small tree, and some vegetables. Tom watered the plants every day. Snow liked to sit on the tree and watch the birds. Sometimes Snow slept near the flowers. Tom liked these quiet moments. The wind moved the leaves slowly. The sun went down softly. One day, Tom wanted to explore the forest. He put on his hat and shoes. He said, "Do you want to come with me, Snow?" Snow meowed and followed him. The forest was quiet and green. The sun came through the trees. The shadows moved slowly on the ground. Tom felt calm and happy. Snow walked behind him. They saw a small river. The water was clear and cold. Tom sat on a big stone near the river. Snow sat near him. Tom threw small stones into the water. The water made soft sounds when the stones fell. Snow looked at the water and meowed softly. Tom laughed quietly. After a while, Tom felt tired. He walked back home slowly. Snow followed him. The forest was quiet. The sun went down. They reached the little house. Tom opened the door and went inside. Snow ran to its favorite chair. Tom drank some tea and felt relaxed. In the evening, the sky was orange and pink. Tom looked at the window. Snow sat on the table near the flowers. Tom thought, "I like this quiet life. I like my little house and the forest." He smiled and drank tea slowly. The wind moved the leaves softly. Everything was calm and peaceful. Tom decided to read a book. He opened a small book near the chair. Snow jumped on his lap. Tom petted the cat gently. He read slowly and softly. The words were easy, and he liked the story. Sometimes Snow looked at the window. The night came slowly, and the stars appeared in the sky. Tom wanted to take a walk in the garden. He wore his sweater and went outside. The air was cold but soft. He looked at the flowers and the small tree. Snow ran in front of him and jumped on the small wall. He laughed quietly. The moon was round and white. Everything was peaceful. Tom sat on the garden chair. He closed his eyes for a few minutes. The wind was soft. He could hear the leaves and some birds far away. Snow sat near him. They were quiet together. Tom thought about the day. He felt happy and calm. Then he went back inside the house slowly. Tom prepared his bed. Snow jumped on the small rug near the bed. The room was warm and quiet. Tom turned off the light. The moonlight came through the window. Tom lay on the bed and closed his eyes. He thought about the little cat near the forest. He was happy he helped Snow. Tom and Snow were friends forever. Outside, the stars were shining. The forest was dark but safe. Tom dreamed about walking in the forest again. He saw the river, the birds, and the flowers in his dream. Snow was there too, playing and running softly.
Part 2. The Forest Walk. The next morning, Tom woke up early. Snow was sleeping near his bed. Tom smiled and got up quietly. He opened the window. The air was fresh, and he could hear the forest. He made tea and bread for himself. Then he looked outside. Snow woke up and walked slowly to the garden. The cat looked at the flowers and birds. Tom wanted to explore the forest again. He put on his shoes and hat. "Come with me, Snow," he said. Snow meowed softly and followed him. The forest was green and quiet. The sun came through the leaves. The shadows moved slowly on the ground. Tom felt happy and calm. Snow walked behind him carefully. They found a small river. The water was clear and cold. Tom sat on a big stone. Snow sat near him. Tom threw small stones into the water. The water made soft sounds. Snow looked at the water and meowed softly. Tom laughed quietly. After some time, they saw small animals. A rabbit jumped near the flowers. A bird sang a soft song. Tom watched the animals and smiled. Snow tried to look at the rabbit, but it ran quickly. Tom said softly, "Don't worry, Snow. They are friends of the forest." Snow meowed softly. Tom and Snow walked slowly. They found a small hill. From the top, they could see the village. The houses were small and quiet. The garden looked soft and green. The sun was yellow and warm. Tom liked the view. Snow sat near him. The wind moved the grass slowly. Everything was peaceful. Tom wanted to rest. He sat on the hill. Snow sat on his lap. He looked at the forest and the sky. The clouds were white and soft. The trees moved slowly. Birds flew quietly in the sky. Tom felt calm. Snow purred softly. After a while, Tom stood up. "We must go back home, Snow," he said. Snow meowed. They walked slowly back to the little house. The sun went down. The sky was orange and pink. The forest was quiet. They reached the house. Tom opened the door. Snow ran inside and jumped on the chair. Tom drank tea and felt relaxed. He looked at the small garden. Flowers and the little tree moved in the soft wind. Tom thought, "I like this quiet life. I like my small house and the forest." Snow sat near him. They were calm and happy together. At night, Tom read a book. Snow jumped on his lap. Tom petted Snow gently. He read slowly. The words were easy. Outside, the moon shone softly. Stars appeared in the sky. Everything was quiet. Tom felt calm. Snow purred softly. Part 3. A Rainy Day. One morning, Tom woke up and looked outside. The sky was gray. It was going to rain. Snow was sleeping near his bed. Tom smiled and got up. He opened the window. The air was cold and fresh. Tom made tea and bread. Snow walked slowly to the garden. The cat looked at the flowers and the soft raindrops. Tom wore his hat and boots. "Let's go outside, Snow," he said. Snow meowed softly and followed him. The rain was light. The forest smelled fresh. The leaves had small drops of water. The wind was soft. Tom felt happy. Snow walked carefully on the wet grass. They found a small river. The water moved faster because of the rain. Tom sat on a big stone. Snow sat near him. Tom threw small stones into the river. The water made soft sounds. Snow looked at the river and meowed softly. Tom laughed quietly. After a while, they walked slowly through the forest. They saw a small deer near the trees. It looked at them quietly. Tom said softly, "Don't be afraid, Snow. The deer is a friend." Snow meowed softly. The deer ran to the forest. Tom and Snow continued their walk. They reached a small hill. From the top, they could see the village. The houses were small and quiet. The garden looked soft and green. The rain made everything calm and fresh. Tom liked the view. Snow sat near him. The wind moved the grass slowly. Everything was peaceful. After some time, Tom decided to go back home. He walked slowly. Snow followed him. The rain stopped. The sun came out softly. They reached the little house. Tom opened the door. Snow ran inside and jumped on the chair. Tom drank tea and felt relaxed. He looked at the small garden.
Flowers and the little tree moved in the soft wind. Tom thought, I like this quiet life. I like my small house and the forest. Snow sat near him. They were calm and happy together. In the evening, Tom read a book. Snow jumped on his lap. Tom petted Snow gently. He read slowly. The words were easy. Outside, the moon shone softly. Stars appeared in the sky. Everything was quiet. Tom felt calm. Snow purred softly. Then Tom decided to sleep. He prepared his bed. Snow jumped on the small rug near the bed. Tom turned off the light. Moonlight came through the window. Tom lay on the bed and closed his eyes. Snow slept near him. The night was quiet. The forest was dark but safe. Tom dreamed about walking in the forest and seeing the animals.
Part 4. A Calm Morning. The next morning, the sun came softly through the window. Tom woke up slowly. Snow was sleeping near his bed. Tom smiled and got up. He opened the window. The air was fresh. He made tea and bread. Snow walked slowly to the garden. The cat looked at the flowers and birds. Tom wanted to explore the forest again. He wore his shoes and hat. "Come with me, Snow," he said. Snow meowed softly and followed him. The forest was quiet and green. The sun came through the leaves. The shadows moved slowly on the ground. Tom felt happy and calm. Snow walked behind him carefully. They found a small river. The water was clear and cold. Tom sat on a big stone. Snow sat near him. Tom threw small stones into the water. The water made soft sounds. Snow looked at the water and meowed softly. Tom laughed quietly. After some time, they saw small animals. A rabbit jumped near the flowers. A bird sang a soft song. Tom watched the animals and smiled. Snow tried to look at the rabbit, but it ran quickly. Tom said softly, "Don't worry, Snow. They are friends of the forest." Snow meowed softly. Tom and Snow walked slowly. They found a small hill. From the top, they could see the village. The houses were small and quiet. The garden looked soft and green. The sun was yellow and warm. Tom liked the view. Snow sat near him. The wind moved the grass slowly. Everything was peaceful. Tom wanted to rest. He sat on the hill. Snow sat on his lap. He looked at the forest and the sky. The clouds were white and soft. The trees moved slowly. Birds flew quietly in the sky. Tom felt calm. Snow purred softly. After a while, Tom stood up. "We must go back home, Snow," he said. Snow meowed. They walked slowly back to the little house. The sun went down. The sky was orange and pink. The forest was quiet. They reached the house. Tom opened the door. Snow ran inside and jumped on the chair. Tom drank tea and felt relaxed. He looked at the small garden. Flowers and the little tree moved in the soft wind. Tom thought, I like this quiet life. I like my small house and the forest. Snow sat near him. They were calm and happy together. At night, Tom read a book. Snow jumped on his lap. Tom petted Snow gently. He read slowly. The words were easy. Outside, the moon shone softly. Stars appeared in the sky. Everything was quiet. Tom felt calm. Snow purred softly. Then, Tom decided to sleep. He prepared his bed. Snow jumped on the small rug near the bed. Tom turned off the light. Moonlight came through the window. Tom lay on the bed and closed his eyes. Snow slept near him. The night was quiet. The forest was dark but safe. Tom dreamed about walking in the forest and seeing the animals.